Hello, Mayor Nancy Young. Salute to you. This is 𝐒𝐷𝐿 from Global Women Power, and we are a 501c nonprofit. We work for the women's empowerment. And our main motto is to create financial and social independence for them.
Okay.
And we have done tons of activities. We are on board with Fremont City here, and a good friend of Mayor Lily May, who is um, had been with us throughout our journey. And we have interviewed other mayors also over a period of time. And all of you come under the category of Meet Our Sheroes. Women, those who have excelled, in their field. And they are women who can mark their impression by the life story they're living, and they lived and they're going to live.
Okay.
So I want to ask from you, take it over, and then share with us what is happening today in your life and how it started and where are you going with your vision and mission.
Okay. I have a lot of missions here. Vision for my life. And I do know Mayor Lily May. She and I both serve on the ACE board, which is San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission. And so we have for a number of years. So, and I used to live in Fremont. I lived in Fremont 15 years before I moved to
Wow.
Tracy. I've been here now a little over 18 years. And so the mission in life for me, I would say really started when I was a little girl. It comes all from ministry within and helping others and seeing what I can do to help others. So as in elementary school, I was a safety monitor, and then I went into, student council, and all the way through high school, being student body president and being editor of the yearbook, and even at my church, being a Sunday school teacher and being over the youth ministry since I was 11. And so that just has kind of morphed into me looking for ways to continue to get people involved and to help others. I didn't have to be the top person. I just wanted to be at the table, to be able to give ideas and to be able to put together things that helped others. And so as I grew older, my visions was more grandeur when I graduated high school. I was going to be president of the United States. I'll leave that to other people. And so when I was older, when I was closer to 40, I had moved to Tracy, and then we started looking, I started going to council meetings just to see what was going on in my community. And for 4 years, I sat there and I took notes in a notebook. I didn't go up to the dais and give my opinion about anything. I talked to council members and mayors after the meetings were over to ask my questions, but I didn't want to come prepared acting like I knew everything already. And even when I became a council member or became mayor, I still don't know everything in life. There's always room for growth, and there's always room for learning. And so in 2012, I ran for council and became a council member, and I've served 8 years now as a council member, and then 4 years now as mayor, which is the maximum that we can serve in our city. So I'm coming up on my the end of my term in December. So it goes into so many different areas and avenues from that, but it goes all the way back to just my heart and passion for people and seeing what I can do to help where I can.
Mhm. So how much time does it take, this job position of your life?
When my mentor in this area of my life, all of us should have mentors in our life. And my political service mentor, she served on the council for 12 years. And she served as a council member, the first person of color on our council. And I became the second and the very first in this particular role as mayor. I asked her, I said, so how much time is this going to take? Because I'm working a full-time job. I was raising my kids still. And they're all grown now. I have grandkids. We're on a whole different, another set of generations here. And I asked her, she said, well, it really just depends on how much you want to put into it. She said, so, when you have items that come before you, locations, she said, for the first so many years, she drove to every location just to see and look and know until she got to know these places for herself. And so for me, I still probably go out to almost every place anyways, because I need to see what's happening at that moment, even though I can picture in my head where all these different places are. I've walked the streets many, many times in our city, especially for campaigning. So if you really want to do a good job, it's a full-time job. So when I was a council member, I used all of my PTO and all of my vacation time, minus 1 week. I had to save that for my family, but I have 5 to 6 weeks. And I use all of that incrementally to be able to travel for our city, go to the trainings through League of California Cities. I've joined many, many boards because one board just leads to another when you have input that you want to see things come to pass. And so as mayor, I just could not work, period. I tried at the beginning, and it's too many meetings that take place during the morning, early mornings, middle of the day, evening. And so if you want to do a really good job, it's minimum 40 hours, but my average week is probably 60 hours a
Mhm.
week when it comes to dealing with mayor stuff and
Mhm.
all the things that I do to input for my city.
When I was on board with Fremont City, the one adjective we used over and over is like the best kept secret, whatever, city can offer.
Hmm.
Because there is not a bridge between what city is doing and a common person, a normal, day-to-day living person. They don't even know what mayor is doing for you, you
That's
know.
true.
Right. So share with us what are your powers, like for what you can be reached up to.
Okay, so a lot of things I probably do well beyond my powers as a mayor, just because I've always been involved in our community and civic organizations and nonprofits, which I still do. And I did before and I will be doing after. So the powers of the mayor really is we're in the city of Tracy. Now you have every city's not the same.
Mm,
Everyone's not created equal.
mm,
I'm under a general law city. So there are set things that I can do as far as ceremonially representation of our city externally and internally.
mm,
But also, I run the meetings. I generally I'm supposed to be able to set the agenda to make sure we're on track to get things
mm,
done. So, but when it comes to voting on things, there's 5 of us that make those decisions. But part of that comes with just the relationship that you have not only with your staff and with your council and with the community to get people to buy into what's going on.
mm,
So it can be limiting, but then it can be expansive in that the other things that I do in the community, like creating Tracy Connects through our Chamber of Commerce, people are like, wait, the mayor's trying to encourage this. So let's get on board and help the mayor. So it's my position that helps me to do other things in the community that's able to expand more. And so that's how I reach more people, just by showing that I really care and it's not about me, but it's about us.
mm. Because what Lily May shared with me that she's trying to bring more and more business in Fremont City. You
So
know,
that's one aspect, absolutely. Bringing more businesses into your city, the mayor has a huge part in that when you meet with different businesses or potential business, because they want to know that they're going to be supported
mm,
by the people who are there. And so when I show up to a meeting and I talk to different ones, it makes a huge difference whether they decide to come to our city or not. And so for me, it's not just the businesses, but it's the whole pipeline. It's workforce development. I'm working on things when it comes to youth.
mm,
Mentorship is part of my background as well. But
mm,
it's not just the youth, but it's also upskilling our community so that different ones are able to get certifications, are able to get further education to be able to invest back into the community. So there's always going to be a focus on business because there's a rotation. Some are there for a very long time, some are there just for a certain period of time, but you have to be able to support that. This weekend, I was at new endeavors that different business owners or entrepreneurs had within our community. One of them is setting up a whole place for food trucks to be able to come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then also have other vendors there to be able to come out weekly and be able to sell things to help just boost our entrepreneurs. But those same entrepreneurs that started that, they started another thing to be able to open up for churches to be able to have services in a building, and not owning their own or having to find space to lease and leasing for more time than they need. And they also do another organization, a nonprofit called 𝐒𝐚𝐴, which helps young people learn how to build their own computers and have their own. They did a backpack giveaway this past week, and so there is so many multiple things that goes into that. But so for me, what's really important is workforce development. That goes the whole gamut, all the way from school to internships we just finished my third consortium of paid internships with the city of Tracy. I'm the first mayor to put that into place, to help. It's not only give our students exposure to other opportunities within city government so they can see how things work, but also a paycheck to give them independence, to be able to do some things for themselves. That I had independence by working at McDonald's when I was in high school, but I got to buy my own things. I got to go to the movies. I didn't have to ask my mom when I wanted to purchase something. So it gave me that independence. So I've wanted to instill that for other people. And so it's connectivity. The Tracy Connects that I mentioned briefly is an annual event that started 4 years ago. This is our 4th annual, coming up on September the 7th. And that's to bring together the nonprofits, the civic organizations, the churches, the different resources, whether it's Taekwondo, and people need to know that these are some activities your children can get involved in. We bring out the city and all the different departments so that the community can talk to the different departments and understand this is what planning does. Oh, this is what's going on in the arts. And we have our fire department out there. We have our police department out there. So that's building these connections. And so different civic organizations can work together with one another. And so it's a lot of different things that I have a heart and a passion for. So those are just a couple of the tidbits of those.
So you are also surrounded by so many other cities. We went to 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 and they all want us to come to 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴. But then Tracy is also, where we have opened our office. So how do you sell your city to somebody like, come over and Tracy is the best place to be?
I know that 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐴 is growing rapidly, and I know Mayor Singh there and watching his career as he's come along after me. And so in our community, we are truly diverse. We are not saying that 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐴 or any other cities, Mountain House, different ones are not.
Right.
But we are growing, and we have more of the land mass to be able to expand when it comes to housing. So a variety of housing, but not only that, we are really the ones that service Northern California and logistics. We are the logistics hub. But the city of Tracy has been, from its inception, going back to the 1878 when it was established, into 1910. I've been doing a lot of history things, so I don't want to get y'all wrapped up in all of that. But as far as being the logistics hubs and the work hub for this entire region, when it was a railroad town, and when you had Holly Sugar or you had Heinz, it not only employed the people in Tracy, but all around. And so we're a big job hub. And that was really the set out plan. I'm a part of the 𝐍𝐴𝐴𝐴 partnership. So with that, 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐴 is a part of it, all of 𝐍𝐴𝐴𝐴 and different individual businesses. And we come together collectively to make sure that we're balancing out our communities and making sure that, if 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐴 gets something like Great Wolf Lodge, and I know some of the investors are Tracy residents, okay, but if 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐴 gets something or Stockton gets something, but it's good for our region, I applaud them. And so some things are better fit in other places, but I just believe that we have a lot more opportunities in Tracy. That's more cohesive. That's me.
And you said your term will finish in December.
My term, yes. It will be the end of 12 years.
So what will be your journey from there onwards?
So this has been a contemplation of mine for the last year and a half, trying to make sure what I do. And a lot of times I lead by saying I want to do something that's going to pay me, because this job has been volunteering, a labor of love for my community. And so there's a lot, and I'll always give of myself to my community, but it would be nice to do something that actually has a paycheck. And so with that, I'm not positive of the door that I'm going to walk through. There's just a number of things that's out there that I would love to utilize the 12 years of information, the knowledge, the relationships that I've built to help others in some way. So you have political people saying you can't get out the political field. I said, okay, then I'll be governor of the state then. And so then you have others that, you can't go back in the regular world because they're going to just work you to death, and you won't be able to, do all the volunteer things that I love to do. So
You make a good governor of California.
Well, thank you. So that's in 2026, though. Our governor terms out in 2 years. But what when I ran track in high school and junior high school, going back to elementary for that matter, but my coach in high school was a hard taskmaster. He pushed me because he wanted me to win, like I wanted to win. He said, you never stop until you cross, you don't slow down. Before you get to that finish line, you run past that finish line and then you begin to slow down. So right now I have so many things in place every single week, all the way up through December, till I turn the gavel over to the new mayor. I have things set to just do as much as I can for not only my city, but for our region, our state, and for our United States of America, actually. So I'm working hard to the end, and then I will decide which door, unless God gives me clarity before then. Trust
Right.
me, I'm praying to make sure, because I don't want to waste time. And
Right.
so I did make a detour, and I ran for another position that I was really pushed by some high up elected officials that encouraged me to do that. And I know that I could have done great things in that position as supervisor, but that wasn't what God chose for me to do right now. So I just want to be focused, and I want to be clear, so that I can just do my best work. So, yeah.
Now, from woman to woman, so you look so young. Is it only because of your last name?
My
Or
husband said I married him just so that I'd be young forever. So I was like, yeah. So with that, I just thank God that he's blessed me. I had a horrible dream though, that my daughter is getting married on the 30th of this month. She got married technically in May, but we're having a big ceremony for her here in Tracy on the 30th of this month. And I had a horrible dream that I was in the wedding, and I was looking around and there was no videographer, and I left out to go find somebody to videotape. I'm like, why is nobody even using their phone to video? And in the dream, I laid down and took a nap, and I woke up and I was like, is the wedding over? But it wasn't. And I'm like, well, let me comb my hair, because my hair was down in the wedding. And I went and looked in the mirror, and all of my hair was white, completely white. And I had all these wrinkles. I'm like, I aged overnight. And so that's what I always feel like, I guess. One day I'm just going to wake up and I'm just not going to be young. They're not going to look young at all. I'm like, Lord, please let me age gracefully, continue to age gracefully. So when I do finish my term in December, my birthday's December 1st, and I will be 55. And so my oldest son is 32. I have a 29-year-old, 27-year-old, and 24. And so I started, my mom used to always say, I was grown, and yes, I had graduated college, got married the year after I graduated college, and then I started having my kids. So I'm
Don't be
grateful
afraid of that vision.
So
I have
don't
the
be
gut
afraid of
feeling
it.
inside. He's not telling you you're old. He's telling you you're at the prime of where you are to be for the next level of how you're going to serve the King of Kings.
Okay.
Wisdom, age is not about your age, but
It is about experiencing,
Right.
I remember years ago when I was at JP Morgan, and one of the young men there, he was in his early 30s, and I was older than him at the time still, and he put gray in his hair because that helped him get a better job, because they wanted to see maturity. He looked young, so he put gray, and it gave him a higher job and a higher paying position because he looked mature. So sometimes I do have to explain myself that, and sometimes I'm insistent that, no, I'm Dr. Nancy Young. I'm not just Nancy to you, especially when I'm up on the council and people being disrespectful, because I've worked to attain different things, and I may look young, but I have the experience because I'm not young. And so at the same time, when I was a little girl, my pastor used to always tell me, you've been here before. And I did not understand what she meant by that, because I'm like, I just got here. And it wasn't until years later that I realized, people say you have an old soul. And I can tell when I meet other people like that too, that it's like they've been around. But I listen. I volunteered at nursing homes when I was a young girl, before I was even a teenager. And I worked with the seniors and just listen. I would just sit there and listen to the many things that they had to share. And so I think that's just a part of my learning and part of my growth. So I hope that I still look young, but old enough for people to feel like they can trust me.
Your doctorate is in what?
It's in theology. Yes.
Oh, so on that note, I just wanted to know from you if you can highlight the personal discipline you observed, which is very important for us women. because we just get lost in taking care of family and children. But was there any personal discipline or regime you followed for your, upkeep and well-being?
You always have to take time for yourself. And so I wrote a poem years ago called "Is Mother What Defines Me?" Because mom is one of my titles. And still, I promise you, when I go to my son, who's 32, to his church in the Bay Area, when I walk in, they're like, "Oh, you're Ben's mom." I'm like, "Okay, I'm back to being a mom." That's how you define me. I am not Nancy. I don't have a first name. But as when all my life, I've just always knew that there was some time that I need to set aside, whether it's just praying or doing something for myself. To get my nails done is important to me because it's a part of my upkeep and I feel good. And when I got married, my husband and I, we decided that we were going to have a family night before we had any kids, and we always have set aside Tuesday night. Now that's been cut into for me being on the council, but we've always set aside time for our whole family. And we always set aside time for just us date night. And as my kids were growing up, I would do date night with my kids. And so you have to just, be able to unwind. I do go more now because all my kids are grown and I don't have the same responsibilities, but I do have to sit back sometime, whether I just sit back and binge watch something on Netflix and, just curl up with the pillow. I have to do that. So you have to have that. For me, I don't allow negativity to just fill my mind. If I know there are social medias or different things that are negative, I don't look at it. I really don't, because I don't want it to poison my spirit. I don't want to keep rehearsing negativity. I need to just continue to speak positive things. And then by mentoring others and being mentored myself, that keeps a clear flow so that I'm helping others, but I'm always looking to somebody who can help me at a different level. And even if it's just to pray for me or just to say, "Nancy, this is, you need to stop and do this." You have to surround yourself with people that are real, people that support you, but people that's going to tell you when you're wrong, or people are going to tell you when that's not a good idea. And so that's what makes you better, not just yes people around you and think everything you do is lovely, because it's not true. And so that's part of what we need to do. And for women to be able to stretch out and do things that men do. Men, they don't have to have all these little layers. We have to check every box before we say we can do the next level of anything. Told my daughter after she graduated college, I'm like, other people are going out there getting great jobs. Other men are just filling out things. You go after it. And so now she's in a wonderful job that she loves for the Department of Energy in DC. And so I'm like, you have to just try it. All they can say is no. And so I think a lot of times, women are more hesitant, and we want everybody just like us, and we want to prove that we know how to do every step of the way. When how many times have we worked for people that we had to show them how to do everything because they don't know? So we need to be a little bit more bold and know that we deserve to be where we are. We don't have to take the time to explain why we're a woman and hear me roar. That's the only way that I've seen women get up to preach and then they want to use all the scriptures in the Bible that talk about women and why they have the right to preach. Just preach. Girl, you up there. You got the mic. What are you going to do when you get the mic in your hand? Just do what you were called to do.
So we all have an urge to leave our legacy. And I know that when we start growing old, we say that we want to give back to the community, but you're already giving back to the community all this time. Did you ever think of writing a book for others to read and follow?
So I've written probably 7 books that are published, but I have a number of other books that I need to get out. And I wrote an outline for one that's called Authentically Me. And so one of the chapters is, what do you do when you have the mic now? I haven't stopped to write it. And so I have a number of books that are in various stages. And so I want to do those, and maybe somebody can find me and write a book about me that could be a bestseller. maybe that'll go further. My undergrad degree is in broadcast journalism. And so part of that is writing. So I do love to write and poetry when I have time, just as an outlet. But I do want the books that I initially wrote. One of them is called I Sing Because I'm Happy. And I wrote that book as a testament to others to come behind me and for young people to know that everybody's not perfect. And you may fall down, because I did. And I didn't think that there was anybody that was imperfect that I could go to at the time until I made some bad decisions. And so I wanted to always show, and I wrote about some bad choices in my book because I wanted even my kids to know, and other many hundreds and thousands that I've mentored to know that even everybody's not perfect. And we can make mistakes, but we can rise up from that. We can still have a song in our heart, no matter what stage of life that we're going through, no matter the things that we deal with. And so that is part of the legacy, to leave behind things in word. But one of the projects I worked on this summer with an intern of mine is to leave behind the history at the city of Tracy. There's no history of mayors, our council members. You can see our current pictures on the wall, but when we're gone, we're gone. And so we've gotten all the pictures and the names of the people that's ever served. I'm having a ball in September to make sure we raise the funds to make sure that we can leave this gift behind for the city of Tracy, a gift of history. And so that will be legacy for me, to be able to just leave behind history. And so I'm a spot on that wall of history for the things that we've done in Tracy. I got a ballot measure years ago in 2016, Measure V, to build amenities. While it's taken time for some of our amenities to be done, we break ground next month for the multi-gen rec center. It's almost a $90 million project. But when I look back on that, I can see I helped to make that possible because we had no funds for it. But I encourage people to invest in themselves to do that. So my name will be on the founding thing. They should have named it the Dr. Young gymnasium, but you know, they're not going to do that no time soon. But I'm happy to be able to see things that's in place that I know it's because of me that I helped make it come to pass.
Thank you. And when, like the saying goes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. What about you? Who
So
is?
as far as besides every successful woman or man, there's the opposite. My husband is a pastor, and when I met him, he was a publisher. So this was actually I met him when I was in high school, so we're gonna skip that, but we started dating my second year in college. And so I met him both times at church. And so he had come to preach in Los Angeles when I was in high school. And then he was good friends with my pastor in Oakland when I was at UC Berkeley. And
Where does he
so
pastor?
his Image Ministries in Tracy. So we co-pastor. We started the ministry in Fremont.
Oh,
So
what's the name of it?
His Image Ministries.
Say it again.
His Image.
Oh, his image.
His
Okay.
Image Ministries.
I'll have to
Yes.
look it up.
Yeah, the original title was very long. It was His Image Praise and Worship Ministries. And so it's His Image Ministries. And so, and besides that, like I said, he's a publisher, and he does a lot of mentoring too. I probably pulled him into that world of mentoring and a lot of volunteerism. So he's involved in the community as well. He's past president for the Tracy African American Association. He joined in with me with the Tracy 𝐾𝐤𝐳, and he comes to all the Kiwanis things because I just pull him into it. But he loves doing stuff with the community.
So he is the strong man you lean back on?
Yes, absolutely. Because I would say a strong woman need a strong man. Don't nobody need anybody weak. I don't know why some guys have trophy wives, and that's just temporarily. They need strong women that's going to help make them strong. And that's what I need for. I can be a cute woman, but I'm not going to be a trophy up on a shelf somewhere. I got things to do.
You know who you remind me of?
Who?
Simone Biles. I mean, there's an age difference, but you can't tell by looking. She's the top gymnast in the world, Olympian, and she needed one more team member on her team. And it was an old friend who's also an Olympian. Hold on, let me shut this. It's a call coming in. And she asked her to come to her state to live, and said, let me work with you. So she didn't work with her skills. She worked with her self-confidence. And then this lady, I forgot what her name was, that joined her team, was like an anchor, and the whole team got the team gold medal.
Yes.
Phenomenal woman, phenomenal athlete. But Simone is one of my favorite athletes, and like you're outgoing, you're helping people and all this criticism that we need. We don't want yes people all the time around us.
No, you need people that's going to help build you. And it's different things that you build on, definitely. Even with my grandson, I was visiting a friend recently and she was trying to teach her granddaughter how to read. And I told her granddaughter, who was sitting next to me at the table, I'm like, it's your confidence. You have to be bold enough to just try the word. You may not sound it out correctly, but try it. If you sit there just trying to think in your mind and trying to, before you get it all right, then you're never going to do anything. You got to just step out and do it. And so that's what sometimes we need people to do that. When I first ran for council, I told you about 2012, but I want to tell you real quick, in 2010, my mentor on the council, Evelyn Tolbert, she was saying, you know what, you need to run for council. I'm like, maybe in a couple of years. And I remember she asked me to come meet with her and she gave me a piece of paper. She said, I need you to sign right here. And it threw me off balance. I'm like, well, let me read this. She said, no, you don't need to read it. I just need you to sign this. So I signed it. She took it, she put it in a folder and walked away. Next thing I knew, the newspaper said Nancy Young was running for council. I said, I'm running for council. She said, because you won't just step out and do it. You're ready. She said, you're ready and you have to do it. And sometimes we have to recognize that in other people and push them and say, you're ready. So it's time to do it.
When you ran for mayor, did you really think you were going to win, or did you think, oh no, I'm not popular enough? And then you won, and what a surprise.
No, I thought I was going to win. I knew I was going to win from when I first put it in. I had like 5 people. It was a 5-person thing. I'm like, for real? Y'all all want to run against me? And so I'm like, I am the most qualified. I remember one lady was like, don't look at, it doesn't matter experience. Yes, it does matter the experience. And let me tell you, when people tell you they're going to do all these different things, but they've done nothing, then don't listen to them, because what you've done is a great indicator of what you will do. It doesn't matter if you were the Sunday school leader or the parent, leader on a field trip. Do something.
Yeah.
But if you've done nothing and say you're going to do all these grand things, chances are you're not going to do it. I've seen people get elected and they still did nothing.
Tell them
One
don't
thing.
run.
Huh? Don't
Tell
run.
them don't
Yes.
run.
I've told people, not now. Get involved, do some other things, and then run, because else you're going to be there if you're popular enough to get voted in, but you won't be of any use, won't be of any value. When I tell you the race that I won, that I was surprised, and that's when I ran for student body vice president when I was a sophomore going into my junior year. I forgot to vote for myself because I was at a meeting that afternoon. My sister forgot to vote for me. My best friend forgot to vote for me. They didn't vote. None of us went to I wasn't even on campus. And so I asked I'm like, how did y'all forget? I wasn't there. And so I'm like, the 3 votes I could count on didn't even vote for me. And so when I won, when they announced it the next day that I won, I was shocked. And so, but it was great because I was able to lead the school. And the next year nobody even opposed me to run for student body president. So at the time, I didn't even realize I was that popular. It was amazing because all the people in leadership were like the smart kids. So, and I did sports and things like that. But it was when we debated, I could talk to people and ask them what's important to you. And then that's the key now, always finding out what's important to people. I don't know what's always important to somebody else. I may have an idea about some things, but when we get people a chance to give their voice, when I say your voice matters, it truly does matter. That's what makes the difference. And so, yeah, by the time I got to mayor, I was like, no, I don't care who runs against me, I'm winning. And the same thing when it comes to, should I go ahead and run for governor? As I've told people recently, it takes the same favor that it does to win the president of the PTA as it does to win governor. God can give favor to whomever he wants to give favor to. You will find favor with people no matter what. And so at whatever level, I may not be the rich person. I don't have a daddy war books, and my dad is passed anyways. And my stepdad and my father are both deceased. But I mean, like, there's one person I know running for governor. Her name is on buildings here in Tracy. Her daddy's like Daddy Warbucks, but I can't be dependent on money buying things. I think we should be tired of money buying positions, and we need to be looking at people that's going to do something. And so I want to serve as that center divide, that bridge making person that helps empower others so that together we all rise.
Very good, because this is the key question. Like, you can't run an office with assumptions like what people need. You always have to know what, have to talk to them to understand what they need.
Absolutely. Because I mean, you would make a mistake. And I was talking to my daughter about what she wants for her wedding cake, because my daughter don't like cake. She don't even like fruit. So I just need to know, well, what do you want for that little piece what do you mind us getting for other people? Because if people come and think that they're going to just give her sweet stuff, that's not going to do anything for her. But if you really know her, bring her some French fries. Now she's going to be real happy about that. So.
Very enlightening talking to you. Any, word of wisdom or, one-liner, two-liner we want to give to the women in general?
So I can't even think of one of the posts that I had put, but I did it because nobody told me that I couldn't. And because some people pushed me and said that I should. And so a lot of times we can succeed when we don't have all these other thoughts in the back of our mind that we can't do it. You have to be like that little engine that thought it could. I think I can. And you just keep saying, I think I can, one step at a time. You don't have to be all the way at the end. Just do incrementally and just keep looking forward. Just keep moving forward. And don't let anybody get you off your game. Get it focused and just take one piece at a time. Don't try to take the whole bite at one time. You get a stomach ache. Do one little piece at a time and just keep moving forward.
Thank you very much. Hopefully we will interview you when you will become governor.
Okay. Definitely. I'll look you up. Hey, I made it, y'all.
Thank you, and see you again sometime in Tracy.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.